What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Me and Fred
I'm
tonight
back.
again. Yes. Emily Gagnon, Fred Campagna. Sports tonight. I think we're talking all basketball tonight.
All
Fred.
hoops.
I think you kind of like that, right?
I do like it. Yeah. No, I love the NBA. Some people are NBA kind of runs hot and cold. I think more than most sports, right? Don't you think there's a lot of people out there that are like, I don't like the NBA. Maybe
I
it has.
think there are a lot of people out there that do think that. I think you're actually really accurate in saying that. We are in the South, though, so my favorite sport is definitely not the NBA or basketball, period.
Yeah. I
am exactly where I need to be because I love
Right.
me some football,
Right. College football. Yeah, but.
tonight's
I
not the
wouldn't say
night.
NBA is my favorite, but I'm not. But I don't understand. I think a lot of it has to do with stuff that happens off the court with the NBA.
The drama.
And then that's a whole, well, not even that, just the whole off the court stuff, like, social justice initiatives and things like that.
Yeah.
For some people, that's a whole different discussion that I really don't want to have tonight because I love the NBA. I am really excited for these playoffs.
Well, I know you are because you're really going to be able to get into this first series that we know is set. Well, we know two are set,
Yeah.
but the one that really concerns us the most here in Atlanta, the Hawks facing the Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. They get started Saturday at 3:30 in Boston. Before we talk about the series, though, I want to give the Hawks like a mad shout out, and I want to apologize to you. Okay, I am so sorry, Hawks,
Yeah.
because I definitely said you were not going to win in Miami against the Heat, and you went out there and did your thing. I mean, you truly, truly did from beginning to end, Fred. I mean, this was the best looking team that I saw from the Hawks all season. They saved the best for last.
The great thing about takes, Emily, is you can just have them. They go out there, and then you don't even have to apologize about them. Because So I was on the record as saying I thought the Hawks would lose, but I did say I thought it would
It
be
could be
that
dangerous.
if they could hang around. And not only did they hang around, they just got out to the big lead. And a couple of things, mentioned that I was kind of surprised at how much Jimmy Butler was running his mouth prior to the game, talking about, we can make a deep run, Eastern Conference Finals, blah, 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 blah. Nobody's given us, y'all wrote us off every year. And it seems like anyone who wrote them off this year, which was basically nobody on the ESPN people, 17.
Oh.
17, yeah.
17?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was 50. None of them said the Hawks were going to win.
Right. And Jimmy Butler had a poor game. I think he was like 6 of 19 from the field. Of course, he got to the line 12 times. I think he was 11 of 12 from the line. The Hawks did it. Team effort. A rare team effort. Trey wasn't amazing. He was good. Everybody seemed like pitched in. Okongwu had some big buckets. Clint Capella had 1 million rebounds.
That's what I wanted to say. Hey, Clint Cece, where you been? Welcome back.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I want to see all playoffs. I can handle that. 20-plus boards, I can handle that all day.
Well, yeah.
Were you playing with a real purpose finally? What was it? Were you not motivated during the regular season? I want to talk to the man. I want to be like, what is up? What was it about last night's game that brought the fire out of you and woke you up a little bit?
I will say for me watching it, it was also one of those games where the ball was bouncing the Hawks way quite a bit off the rebounds. That you get a little bit of luck as far as that goes, but they were definitely more intense from the start. They wanted that game. Bam Adebayo, where are you? He's supposed to be, the 2 on that team or the 1A or whatever you want to call it. And sometimes he looks amazing. Last night, it was first half of the game. It was like, where are you? Put your imprint on the game.
I agree.
And he did not. Kyle Lowry played really well. What's up with the Heat? So Tyler Herro, I've been saying it for a few years. I think he's a shooter. He's flashy. When he gets hot, he can do some stuff. But at the end of the day, is he really that much different than Kevin Huerter or Bogey in terms of his actual impact out there? And I think last night it wasn't a big one for him. Duncan Robinson looks like a total flash in the pan for the Heat. He didn't even see the court.
Kevin Herter, though, I mean,
Yeah.
really quickly, talk about he left Atlanta,
Yeah.
goes to Sacramento, it just like
Flourishes.
balls
Yeah.
out. I mean, like, he is having the time of his life in Sacramento right now. Red Velvet couldn't get any
Yeah.
redder. I mean,
Right.
seriously, fire hot. He's one of my favorite players. He really is, because getting to know him was a true pleasure. He
Yeah.
is so nice. But boy, oh boy, I tell you what, he is killing it.
Well,
with the
everybody
Kings right now.
clowned Sacramento early in the year when they went with the light the beam thing after the win. They were like, oh, they're not going to be using a lot of electricity in Sacramento. And then they lit it
yeah.
quite a bit. And if you watch that team, which West Coast team, probably don't see too much of them, offensively, they are good. I mean, and
really
Sabonis
good.
is a big part of that De'Aaron Fox, really, really smart, very quick decision-making offensive team that moves the ball around. And that's where you can get a guy like Herter and make him incredibly effective, because he's a guy, if you can give him open shots, he's going to make them.
I just like when players, if you
Yeah.
if you get traded and you don't necessarily want to leave, but you don't have a choice, it's the business, and they go somewhere and they truly, are able to show their talents and showcase what they're working with. And Sacramento has figured it out for him, or
Yeah.
he's figured it out for Sacramento,
Yeah.
because he is like doing the darn thing over there.
Right.
But let's go back to the Hawks, right?
Okay.
And the series that you're waiting for. And I know that you're hoping for a different outcome than probably a lot of people. Who
Well, I'll
are
try to stay
listening us
objective
right
here,
now.
but,
But
Yeah.
wait, but this is a perfect segue, Fred. Like, after watching them last night play in their best game that they had all season, again, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And yes, they did actually look like they gelled and liked each other and all the things. They played like a real team last night, not individuals. Are you scared at all? Like, do you feel like maybe the Hawks are onto something? Or are you like, no, they're just going to go back to their regular mediocre 500
Yeah.
selves once they play my Celtics?
Well, they've been win one, lose one all year, so they'll
That's
probably
right.
lose game one. But
not gonna argue that.
this isn't really a shot at the Hawks here. But no, I'm not scared. I think this Celtics team, they were pretty much all there for the run last year. They were very disappointed to not win the title last year. And when you don't win the NBA Finals, you don't hang any kind of Eastern Conference banner in the Boston Garden. Like, the only thing that goes up is an NBA Finals, a championship banner. And
Y'all have been spoiled.
well, I
That's
mean,
not
it's
a
just the way it is.
regular thing.
Right, but it is just the way it is there. That's
I
the
get it.
standard.
I like that. Standard
Jalen
of
Brown.
excellence.
Jalen Brown, local guy. So if you're looking for an angle there, of course, Jalen Brown, Cobb County,
I'll take
Marietta
it.
guy.
Yep.
One of probably my favorite Celtic. These guys were really unhappy. Like, some teams you could say, well, wasn't it great though that you got to the finals? You took the Warriors to 6 games, all this stuff. It's like, no, they were not. They did not complete the job. So they have been very focused this year on doing that, on completing it. They did not get the 1 seed. I don't think that's going to matter in the East. So I don't think the Hawks are capable of playing at the level that the Celtics are going to play at. I don't think the Hawks have enough guys to go up against the Celtics. I did see the Celtics play here in March. Went to that game. I was joking yesterday, Emily, that the Celtics start with two home games in Boston, and then they have 2 home games in Atlanta after that.
Come on, Hawks fans.
But
Let's
I
do
mean, but that's
this.
just, I know, but it's just what happens,
No, it's
because
true. It's true.
there are a lot of transplants down here, and believe me, I'm already looking at it going, oh, next Sunday night, game 4. Now,
You going?
if it's,
You going game 4?
well, let's just say probably, but let's just say this. If it's
not
3-0
gonna let you
Celtics,
in.
I would say definitely, because I know the ticket's not going to cost me much. If it's 2-1 either way, or shockingly 3-0 Atlanta, then probably not. Yeah, I mean, so it's going to be a really, really tough matchup for the Hawks. Tough. The Celtics swept the series, I think, against them this regular season. So it's a very, the Celtic guards to guard Trey, Derek White, Marcus Smart, which Trey and Smart got into it in the game in Atlanta in March, and then Brogdon. I mean, those are some big guys, pretty good defenders that are going to be on Trey. So
Okay.
it's going to be a challenge. What do you think?
I mean, I'm just trying to think, if somebody were to ask me, like, best of 7 series, like,
Yeah.
where do you think it's going to go? And I don't have a full grasp of that yet. Like, I don't really know. I mean, I think the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hated when they played Miami last year, because it was They lost. I mean, they literally won one game, right?
Yeah.
They lost the series 4-1.
Yeah.
I mean, is that going to be a repeat this I'm not off season. This postseason. Like, is that what we're going to see? Like, because I kind of feel like from what you're saying that's what you're thinking.
I'm thinking it's 4 or 5. I really do. Just
so you think
the
they
Celtics
get one win? They get one.
Well, the Celtics were the second best offensive team and the second best defensive team in the league, throughout the regular season. They had a little up and down here and there, but it wasn't anything too crazy. Rob Williams is pretty healthy. So the Hawks are going to have to, Capella's going to have to be exactly what he was last night. Can he be that over the course of a 7-game series?
I look forward to seeing if he can.
Right. DeAndre Hunter's going to have to take another step up.
He's got to be the most frustrating player to be a fan of or root for.
Well, he doesn't show much emotion.
I have no
on the
issues
court
with him, but he's so hot and cold.
Yeah.
And there's never when he's good, he's great.
Yeah.
But then any other night, he's just mediocre to me. And I know the Hawks, they have to think of these things when they give guys contracts. And I know it's probably pretty tough to give him a new contract because it was man, when he's good, he's great. But when he's not responding, it's just
right.
Ugh.
And I think that another problem that the teams are going to find out about the Celtics when they get into these series is that you're 8 deep, right, during the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
So that means that the Celtics bench players are going to be Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, and Grant Williams, coming off the bench. And there's not 3 better guys at 6, 7, and 8 on anyone's roster throughout the league than those 3 guys. So when the rotation gets tightened up and all that, you're probably not going to see Luke Cornett out there for the Celtics, maybe you will if there's a big lead in either, but it'll only be in the fourth quarter if there's a big lead. So anyway, if everybody's healthy, it's going to be a really tough matchup for the Hawks. And I don't think that's going out on a limb at all.
No, I don't think it is either. I do believe that the Hawks will lose the series. Maybe next time we talk, I can give you a prediction. But I was surprised that they beat the Heat. So let's just leave it at that.
Bad night for the Heat. Veteran team to be that unprepared and that disinterested, it seemed, in what was happening out there last night. And one other thing I'll point out before we go out of the West Coast, you see the crowd?
Yes, it
the
was
late arriving crowd.
Yes,
all you saw was empty seats for the first quarter and a half.
But I do want to defend something that you said.
What is that?
So, yes, I agree with you that whether you go to a Falcons, Hawks game, whatever, there is a significant amount of people from the other team there. But I'll just take it back to the run that the Hawks made a couple years ago to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Once the train gets rolling.
State Farm Arena was on fire for the Hawks, not the other team.
Yeah.
So they do a really good job during the postseason of showing up. I absolutely believe there will be a good amount of Celtics fans at State Farm Arena. That is not what I'm arguing.
Right.
But I do feel like the Atlanta crowd will be rowdier than usual.
I think
come Friday and Sunday night.
Right. And part of it is the blessing and the curse of Atlanta is that it's a great place to live.
Right.
It's why I'm here and weather, everything else. And it just does bring a lot of people, a lot of opportunity here, city of opportunity, for a lot of people. So you do get people who weren't from here, moving here more so than, say, moving to Boston.
Right.
There's winter in Boston.
We don't like that. It's
exactly.
cold. We don't want to.
At one point I did, not anymore.
Yeah, we want nothing to do with that. All right, let's move on. But guys, game 1 of that series, 3:30 Saturday.
Yes.
Game 2 on Tuesday, and like we have said, Friday and Sunday we'll be back here in Atlanta, and I look forward to seeing it. And you know what, Fred? I know you don't think this is going to happen, but what if it's 2-2? I can see it. I can see it being 2-2 once all is said and done Sunday night.
Yeah.
And then I'm loving that series.
So a lot of times, and in the Celtics history, even when they won the title. So the last time they won the title, they had the Hawks in the first round, and it went 7 games. And the most recent series between the Celtics and the Hawks was won by the Hawks in 2016, when the Celtics' best player, I think, was Isaiah Thomas. Another small guy. It's kind of tough when you get in the postseason.
Al Horford was here then.
Was he still? He might have still been here at that point.
Yeah.
not
And he's
positive on
loved
that.
here, okay? Like, let's be
That's good
honest.
because I love
Yes.
Al Horford.
Al Horford was like a great dude here
Yeah,
in
the
Atlanta.
OG.
People love him.
He is.
I mean, I liked him before he was even in the NBA. I mean, I was watching him play for the Gators, and that was
Yeah.
like
Those teams were
outstanding.
incredible.
Yeah.
Billy
the
Donovan.
The
Yeah.
back-to-back. That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the other play-in tournament game that we watched last night in the Western Conference. It was the Lakers and the Timberwolves
Mm-hmm.
and the Lakers. I mean, this one had to go to overtime. I did not feel good about that.
Yeah.
The Lakers
if you,
won.
Right. So the Lakers eked it out in the end. It's interesting. You can see a score, and then you can see a box score, and be like, "Wait a minute, how'd that happen?"
Right.
So UGA's Anthony Edwards had not a good game. I think he was 3 of 17 and 0 of 9 from 3-point land, and somehow the Wolves still got that to overtime. LeBron, I think he scored 30, but I think he was a -10 plus minus. I love the plus minus stat.
I was going to say, I love that you love that.
Well, I mean, it was -10, you know? So,
into it.
so he was the two guys on the Lakers who were big pluses were Schroeder and
Former Hawk.
Rui Hachimura. RIP on the dunk block that I don't know if you saw that one, Emily, from
Rest in
Anthony
peace,
Edwards.
certainly.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable play by Ant-Man on that one. But so the Lakers, I guess what I'm saying is they did it without LeBron. It was key in the fourth quarter for sure and in overtime, but they did it with him having an off night for most of the night.
I will say, though, like, lousy play. Like, when I was watching the Lakers
Yeah.
last night, I thought it was lousy. Like, just lousy.
That seemed to be the sentiment of a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
this wasn't that great of a basketball game. There were a lot of
No.
bricks being thrown up. Terrible foul by Anthony Davis, to send it to overtime.
Absolutely.
Like, what are you doing?
What is going on here?
Yeah. So now the Lakers, Grizzlies,
Yeah.
which is going to be a very interesting matchup because Dylan Brooks, a guy who likes to talk a lot, was asking for the Lakers. So
Can I tell you, though,
watch what you wish for.
that I think it was last season, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly, those games in Memphis, Fred?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
Moses.
No, that's going to be
What?
nuts.
Like,
Yeah.
they know how to have fun
Yeah.
in that arena. Like, I want to go to one of those games every night.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's how I felt during the Hawks Eastern Conference run. Like, those games were amazing. And so
Yeah.
when I watched Memphis last season, I was like, oh, they're kind of doing it like the Hawks.
Yeah.
It just feels like when you're at a Hawks
I was hoping.
postseason game, you feel like you're in Atlanta.
Right.
Like, you could close your eyes and you know exactly where you are. You're like, yep, Atlanta, Georgia, Hawks game. I can hear like Big Boy, like all of the
Yeah.
hometown rappers come back and perform during
Right.
timeouts. It's unreal. You know you're in Atlanta, and Memphis seems to be the exact same way.
Yeah, Memphis, a great playoff environment there. And I was kind of hoping that we'd have the rematch of Memphis and the Wolves, because that was very entertaining last year.
That was good.
You'd have some of the better young players going up against each other in the league. I think a little bit of the shine is off of Memphis because of everything that happened with Ja this year.
Yeah.
So it's not quite the same feeling that it was last year with Memphis, and no Steven Adams for them. That's definitely going to hurt against, with AD. So Jaren Jackson's going to have to be great. Bane's going to have to be
I
great.
think Memphis can win this, though.
I think
In my
they're the 2
opinion.
seed. They have home court. They're a very good team. They're very good coach. So it should be exciting. And then we'll see who ends up going to play Denver. Nobody's talking about Denver doing anything because they haven't done anything ever. Sacramento, we talked about them. Their reward for having such a great regular season that nobody saw coming is to get Golden State. Like, you got to be kidding me. But that right there is, that's got to be drawing some interest in Northern California, because if Sacramento can take down Golden State, that'd be huge. I don't think that's going to happen, but
I mean, that
should
would
be
be
interesting.
Yeah, that would be monumental.
Yeah.
But that's going to be for the Bay Area. Like, there's not going to be a hotter ticket, right?
Right, and well, they're so the thing is, I saw this. It's a very hard ticket for the games in Sacramento. It's not such a hard ticket for the games in San Francisco. So, and the other thing I saw was that Sacramento hasn't been on ABC since I think 2007.
Really?
Yes.
That's like
Almost
I feel like
impossible.
We should investigate.
They're like the Pittsburgh Pirates, basically, of the NBA for a while, and a lot of people still had them in that role. So we'll see what they can do. They don't play much defense, but they play some beautiful offense there. So should be interesting.
Oh, I'm all in. Like you said, like the NBA, and like some people might not want to watch it, whatever. Like I feel like I'm vested right now.
Yeah.
More so than probably I would be if the Hawks didn't make it. But
Right.
I like these matchups so far.
All right. So we'll see
tonight-
how all in you are as we talk about the other play-in games, those 9-10 games.
Right. So we've got the Bulls and the Raptors tonight in the Eastern Conference. I love Fred VanVleet. I covered him at Wichita State.
Yeah.
He is like a stellar dude. I cannot say enough nice things about him. Did I ever think that he would become the player that he is? No.
Yeah.
But like he comes from nothing and he has clawed his way through life and earned every second of what he has right now. I am a huge fan off the court as well as on the court. I think the Raptors will go as he goes. So we'll see what he gives tonight because I think that it'll all depend on him and I'm just putting the weight on him and I'm depending on him to pull it off. Not to mention like he plays for like the only team in Canada, my home country.
Yeah.
So let's do this, Raptors.
Right.
Let's do it.
I agree with that. I think as he goes, they will go. So he has to play well. He hasn't been outstanding, so he needs to step it up a little bit, be a little bit better. I don't know what exactly is going on up in Toronto, but Nick Nurse has one foot out the door, so that's always a little bit strange when the coach is prior to the season ending, having talked about stepping away.
Talk about no motivation, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, so this will be a true test of like the professionalism of these guys, and,
Right.
and they are. I mean, one thing that I'm always surprised by at Dallas Mavericks, sitting all their players aside, is how teams that are out of it or barely in the play-in are still competing at the end of a regular season in games that don't mean that much. So, these guys are true pros. It'll be good. I mean, it's.
So are you
But-
counting the Bulls out? Like you're in agreement with me? We're thinking the Raptors are moving on.
Well, I mean, DeMar DeRozan, is such a great, efficient game that if he's on, and you never know when he's going to throw up 45, in a very methodical way on you. So I'm not counting the Bulls out by any stretch, but I do think whichever team wins here will be a quick feast for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, and let's talk about the
Yeah.
fact. Well, no, because whoever wins here has to play the Heat now.
Oh, that's
on
right. That's
Friday.
right. That's right. Whoever wins the play-in. That's right. So
Right.
yeah. So Jimmy Butler said, well, we just need to come out and do the exact opposite. Right. So I think that the Heat, that'll be a home game in Miami.
Right.
It's going to be a big one actually, because if the Heat lose 2 home games and don't get out of the play-in, oof, that's tough.
All right, so we're thinking that Miami will get the 8th seed then.
Right, and then hopefully they'll figure it out a little bit and grind on the Bucks for a while.
For a while.
Make it tough.
Yeah.
6 games, 6. But if either one of these teams, Bulls, Raptors, gets that far, I think that they would be dispatched by the Bucks pretty quickly.
All right, Thunder Pelicans. We are going back to the Western Conference now.
Yeah.
I really don't have many thoughts on this one. I'm going with the Pelicans. But you, I feel like I'm just sensing that you're going to say you're going with the Thunder. So
I've seen the Thunder play a little bit this
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
and they have a great coach, a guy who started UConn, just won the national championship. Obviously,
right,
he
right.
started as like a team manager at UConn with
so you
Jim.
like his story.
Good story. Team manager at UConn, Jim Calhoun helped him get an assistant coaching job at the College of the Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts. Then he went with Billy Donovan down to Florida, and that was the
Massachusetts,
connection.
somewhere along here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was
I
all
get
New
it.
England.
Yeah.
But then he went with Billy Donovan down to Florida and ended up in OKC, and that's how he got that job. But Shea Gilgeous Alexander is really good. But the Pelicans are pretty good too. Pelicans, man, that's got to be tough to be a fan of that team. To know that you're good enough to get into the play-in without Zion doing anything, and then Zion saying he's not coming back until he feels like Zion again.
Has he ever felt like Zion since he was in the league?
Not since that shoe blew out. That was when he was with Duke, right?
I mean, this is like crazy to me.
Yeah.
He was like the next coming of Shaq.
I know.
And Shaq in his good days.
It's tough.
And we've
It's tough to
never
see
seen-
because, right, you just see a flash every now and then. And he's a big guy like that. He's still really young, but he's going to have to.
They're going to have to let him go. You hear me, Pelicans? At some point, you're just going to have to say, like, feed him to the wolves. You don't like that?
Yeah, but it seems like he's calling a lot of the shots, you know?
Yeah,
so,
well, they're going to have to, like, deal with, like, let's go. You're the organization. You make the rules. You pay the checks.
Okay, all right.
So let's do it.
So you're
right?
saying push him a little bit to be out there,
I mean, you
even if
can't-
he's not 100%. Yeah, so
well, maybe not push him out there, but if he's not willing to go out there and play and he's like, hey, you know, dragging his feet, which,
Yeah.
again, I don't know the situation. You
Right,
don't either, right?
right.
But I'm the one who's making the complaint here.
yeah.
I'm just saying at some point, like, you got to make a decision. Are you going to play or are you not going to play? And if you're not going to play, then we got to move on from you. Because it seems like it's been centuries that we've been waiting for him to become who we thought he was going to become. And that's just
Right.
my opinion.
Right, and he's still what though? What's his age? 25, 24?
I don't know. He's young.
It's not. He's not very old, but you know he needs to. So same thing here. Although the winner of this game, going up to Minnesota, now, that would be a lot more interesting. I think the winner of this game has a really good chance of getting out of the play-in tournament. Which
Okay.
I don't know how often we see the 9-10 getting out of it, but I think that they have a pretty decent chance.
And that's the whole point of this tournament,
Brandon Ingram, I was kind of hoping that the Lakers were going to lose last night because then you'd have a
Really?
little Brandon Ingram potential revenge game, you know, against the Lakers if that all went down. But none of it happened, so. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do you, like, even just being on this topic, do you like this play-in tournament? Because you ask players and you ask coaches, and they're kind of reluctant to tell you anything because they don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But it certainly feels like it means more, right? Like if you're definitely telling teams like you want to be 1 through 6, and if you're
Yeah.
the 4 after that, you're going to have to play yourself in
Yeah.
to the playoffs, and I think it makes it more exciting for
Yeah.
fans. But I'm not sold. I don't think players or coaches like it.
Yeah, I like it. And then next year, right? Is it next year or 2 years from now? We start with the in-season tournament, which is going to be really interesting. You know, because I think it's $500,000 bonus or something for each player. You know, the team that wins that thing. So that's going to be strange as well when that happens. But I think the play-in's a good thing because, you know, let's face it, if you're a 7th seed, so you don't really have any claim to anything. You know.
Yeah. What's on your mind, though? You got like 10 seconds.
Oh,
You
on
have
my
anything
mind?
your
I don't know. I guess Bezos is not buying the Commanders. I saw that today.
All right.
And they're going for like $6 billion or whatever it is.
Let's see what's on my mind.
Yeah.
Antoine Petway, hired at KSU. He was at
Oh, okay.
Alabama for 15 seasons.
Oh, wow.
One of the best recruiters in the country. Yeah, you come to Kennesaw State for a couple of years, my friend, recruit and win, and you'll be the next one to go, and
Yeah.
you'll be at a bigger program than USF. And I love Amir Abdurrahim, and USF is my alma mater. But you will be going somewhere way bigger.
Right.
This man has got it. He's got the juice, Fred. So
Good.
even though Coach Amir is gone, Coach Petway, KSU is in a very good
Did you say
situation.
15 seasons?
15 at
Wow.
the same school.
All right. So he's got the experience.
Yes, and he's loyal.
Awesome.
Have a good night, guys.
All right. We'll see you.